Hey everyone, my name is Helena from Glass Factory. I'm here with Maisie Peters to talk about her new single, Psycho. Hi,
Hi,
how
how
are
are
you
you?
doing?
Oh, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm Maisie Peters. I'm 21. I live in London. I make sad acoustic pop, emo girl pop, I used to call it. That's the end. That's the end of me.
I've just been looking at your socials and saw that you were doing something called Feral Girl Summer, right?
I am doing Feral Girl Summer.
Yeah, I thought that was really cute because the whole trending thing with Hot Girl Summer. And yeah, you're doing your own play on that. Could you tell me a little bit why about like what made you come up with that and all that?
It was actually just kind of funny. It was my song Psycho just came out, and it's a pretty fun song. It's pretty wild. I think I definitely spill some tea in that song, and I guess it was just kind of like a funny play on words. One of my fans, I think, tweeted me the day Psycho came out and was like, "Oh, this is so feral," and I was like, "That's so funny." And I've always loved that word anyway. Like I always think I'm kind of a feral person. So I kind of started Feral Girl Summer as like a little joke, and then everyone loved it. I was like, wait, actually, this is really funny. So then now it's become a whole thing. Like my group, I have a group chat called Feral Girl Summer. Like we're making it a thing.
That's cool. I thought it was really cute, and I love it. So yeah, it's really cool. Really good idea. So you created a soundtrack for the season 2 series of Trying.
Trying.
Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you feel that it developed your voice as a whole, especially with this new album?
Yeah, I think it was so much fun. It was amazing making trying. There was so much, creative freedom, and it was a very different task than writing music for myself and for my album. This was writing for characters and for a sort of a cinematic universe, and it was really writing sort of to a brief in this really wonderful way where it was actually really freeing. And I love all of the music I made for that soundtrack. It feels like so much a part of me, and I have such fond memories of the making of the whole thing. I made it with my friend Joe, who I make loads of music with, and we really just spent 2 months like making my album and making Chinese soundtrack at the same time, and it was really just like such a fond time in my mind. But I think it really, I was writing so much, and it was such a quick turnaround, and we were just sort of really on a roll that yeah, I think it really helped me as a writer, and sort of also made my album better as a result.
Yeah, that's really cool. It sounded very different from your typical stuff, and it was interesting to hear. So, yeah,
Thank you.
still very you, though, which, yeah, you managed to do all that, and it was really cool. Tells a really great story.
Thank you.
Speaking on your creativity and all that, how has the pandemic impacted all that?
I think in different ways. Obviously, shows. I haven't played a show in a year and a half, which has been crazy. I loved playing live, and I definitely sort of did a lot of that beforehand. So that was definitely unusual. But I feel like as a writer, I'm at the start of the pandemic, I moved back home with my parents, like everybody did, and I wrote so much on my own again, which was a thing that I hadn't done in a while because I've been writing with other people for so long. But at the start of the pandemic, there was no one else to write with, so I really got back into that, and that was actually really inspiring. And I wrote so much then. I was so inspired, and I had so much to talk about, and I just think that was a really actually useful thing for me to do. And I totally reconnected with that side of myself, and that in turn made my album much better, I think.
That sounds really awesome. It's not really been that common for people to feel creative in the pandemic, so
For sure. I think I accidentally just had things happen to me sort of around that time. So it sort of lined up well. But yeah, I mean, there's also been time periods where I haven't been that creative. But as a person, I would say I enjoy writing. I tend to do it like relatively frequently. So it was sort of a good time.
yeah. Yeah, and then since you weren't on tour, I'm sure being at home helped too.
So much more time.
Yeah.
So much time.
You were recently signed to Gingerbread Man Records with Ed Sheeran's label. How were you introduced to that whole thing?
So Ed and I sort of have always been around each other. I mean, we're both signed to Atlantic, and we write and record with the same people. We have a lot of mutual friends. So he reached out about writing together, sort of the beginning of 2020, and I went up to Suffolk and we wrote together, and it was just super easy. And he's so chill and easy to get along with and to work with, and such like the nicest person. So yeah, it was so fun. And from there, we wrote a couple of songs that are on the album actually, and it just made loads of sense for us to keep working together and sort of continue that relationship. And then I signed Gingerbread, and it's been amazing. He's just the best. He's an amazing mentor and person and friend, and I'm a big fan always.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So he helped you with a few singles, including Psycho. How do you feel like he helped you with your vision and like find that and capture it when you guys collaborated and wrote together?
I think he's one of the best things about Ed is that he's so eager and willing and really wants to help you execute your vision. And so with Psycho, it was my story and it was very much sort of my world and universe. And he really just wanted to come in and make it with me and help me and sort of lend his expertise to that, which I think is so cool, especially from someone as successful as him. I think he's just really so cool about that sort of thing. And all the songs we wrote together on this album, it's definitely my universe and
Yeah.
my stories and my people. And but he just really comes in and sort of offers his own spin on it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, about that whole universe, do you have a whole concept, like a whole one story that you're trying to tell in your upcoming album? It seems like your two singles that you released, John Hughes movie, right, is a single toward that album.
Yeah.
So those two definitely have a drastic difference in theme going on, and I could tell. So is there like a story that you wanted to touch on in the album?
No, I think the album is sort of a lot of little stories. I think that there's no one big one, but it does essentially tell the story of, somebody growing up and finding, so that's some me, me growing up and finding my voice and finding what I want to talk about and how I want to talk about it. And there were so many songs that didn't make this album, and I think I'm definitely somebody who I don't get bogged down with the details. I like to create lots and then just sort of throw it together and see what happens at the end. But I do think the story does have a real narrative to it.
Yeah.
And this album has definitely like themes that really span the whole thing.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about what those themes are, or are we gonna have to wait a little bit longer?
I mean, I think I'm interested in what people think they are when they listen to it. I think, there's sadness and there's nostalgia and there's hope and there's sort of romanticism and love and I think there's like a lot of naivety in some of the songs, but then there's also a real sense. I think there's like a real like sort of like low simmering, crushing sort of like resentment to quite a lot of these songs, which is kind of that feeling you get when you do like have that first realization of, people aren't how you want them to be and situations don't work out the way they should. And sometimes you don't get the ending that you think you should have gotten. And I think that sort of is a thread that weaves through the album as well.
I also definitely can see where you got the whole feral and the feral girl summer part of that too, because it's very much that, especially when with Psycho. I've noticed that like, that like when people are talking behind your back and calling you the crazy one, and I love how you just played on that and was like, yeah, I'm gonna rock that. I am crazy, and that's okay.
I'm crazy.
So
Yeah.
it's really cool. It was a really
Thank you.
great idea, because yeah, I'm sure we are all being sick and tired of being called crazy and all that. So yeah, you are going on tour roughly soon, like 2022, possibly.
Hopefully. Yeah. I don't want to give away too much. I also don't know yet, but I think definitely sometime in 2022, I will be on the road somehow. And yeah, I can't wait. I think it's going to be the most exciting thing possibly ever. But hopefully some shows, maybe some shows this year, who knows, but definitely shows next year.
Well, I mean, the reason why I asked was because I could see you doing some really cool like performances of some sort with your concepts in these new songs and in this album. Or is there anything like any ideas on that, on as far as what you would want to do with that, or?
I think I have a couple, but I'm keeping them to myself until we do them. But yeah, I think this album will be so fun to play. I've already thought, a lot about how fun it's going to be. And some of these songs will just be so wild on stage. I can't wait.
I could definitely tell that it'll be a really fun one to see and to play, because yeah, there's just a lot going on, a lot of fun concepts that you're touching on.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Do you have any more thoughts before we head out?
No, I think we've really covered all bases.
Cool. Well, yeah, it was really nice to meet you, and
You
congrats on your
too.
new single.
Thank you so much. This has been so fun. Thanks, Helena.
Yeah, have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Bye.